Shalom, call halal Yahweh Shemel Shabbat Hashem Dash double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of the GMS, even the elders that came before them that taught us the truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the truth, pushing the word of truth and in sincerity, the hopeful light tabernacle of David. I'm Brother Yashawan, the brother slash elder, and this is the WW3 Daily update. I'm gonna start right here in Joel 3 and 10 again for the second time today. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears, and the point, let the weak say I am strong. Going back to the Houthis crippled maritime industry. What? How? Little tiny Yemen, down there getting their ass kicked all the time, still fighting, right? The Houthis crippled maritime industry. You know what that means? What is maritime industry? Let's type that in. Let's see what that consists of. Right? Okay, your boy saying maritime industry definition. Right? What is the definition of the maritime industry? It is much more than deep sea merchant fleet. The maritime industry is much more than the deep sea merchant fleet. It includes tugs, barges, port and terminal operations. Pilot sea. The maritime industry is about conducting traffic on the high seas. Okay. The law of the sea. You ever heard of the law of the land? You got something called maritime admiralty. Okay. Well, there's that word again, maritime. Let's change this word. M-I-R-A-L-T-Y. Law. Maritime Admiralty law. What is that? It's the law of the high seas, which is what they conduct right here when you go into this court, right here on the land. They put you right in a maritime court and then defraud the shit out of you, and you don't even know one way or the other. Maritime industry, we just read that. What is maritime admiralty? Maritime law, or admiralty law, is a body of law that governs nautical issues and private maritime disputes. And when you go to court in that fringe, that yellow fringe, gold fringe, whatever they call it, is around the flag, you are under the court of maritime admiralty, the court of the high seas. And it would be an entirely different thing if it was the law of the land. So they already got you at a disadvantage. But that's another lesson. Anyway, maritime industry. So Houthis cripple what? The fucking law, the fucking traffic of the high seas. So how did we open this? We haven't even watched that yet. Let the weak say, I'm so look, motherfucker, we will shut down the Red Sea, nigga. Huh? Oh, we're just the Houthis, nigga. We will shut down and cripple. See, here's what it's not saying. They didn't cripple maritime industry. They crippled motherfucking the oil market. And people are scrambling right now. We can shut down the Red Sea. It's not going to have an effect on world oil? Of course it is. Anyway, let the weak say I am strong.
Two major developments from the Middle East. First, The Israeli terrorist force called the IDF has said that it has suffered more losses in Gaza after three
I'm
of
gonna
its
start that again because my PA is tripping. Hold on. Here we go.
two major developments from the Middle East. First, the Israeli terrorist force called the IDF has said that it has suffered more losses in Gaza after three of its terrorists were killed. And the sinking of two major commercial ships in the Red Sea by the Houthis in recent days has had a crippling effect on the global maritime industry.
Let me stop that. That is profound. Why is it profound? Because the Houthis been getting pounded by the United States and Israel for the last few months, and Saudi Arabia. Pounded by these first world countries and their bombs and all their super high tech shit, and they're mad as hell. They are mad as hell because they can't stop the Houthis. So what? Let's go back and read this again. Let the weak say I am strong.
Let's look at these developments in detail. The Israeli terrorists have continued to commit brutalities against unarmed and innocent Palestinians in Gaza. On Monday, they dropped US bombs on a group of children who had gathered to fetch water from a tanker. What was different this time, however, was that Israeli terrorists didn't blame Hamas for their barbaric acts. They said their bombs had killed children through a technical error. And yet, there was no outrage from the global fraternity. War criminal Benjamin Netanyahu's friend Donald Trump was busy declaring himself the chosen one who was sent by God to make America great again.
And it's remarkable to think that it was only 1 year ago this week that my time on earth nearly ended. And if you look at that, God was with me because that's something that, in theory, I should not be with you. Well, I believe that, and I do, I believe it, that my life was saved by God to really make America great again. I really believe that.
I wonder
Make America dead again.
where he draws his confidence from to utter such nonsensical stuff all the time. While the Israelis killed more than 70 people across Gaza on Monday, its terrorist outfit, the IDF, said that three of its terrorists were killed and one seriously injured in the Gaza Strip. These terrorists served with the 401st Armored Brigade's 52nd Battalion. A statement from the IDF said, and I quote, according to an initial Israeli army probe, the soldiers were in a tank and was likely hit by anti-tank fire. Other causes of the explosion are being investigated. End quote. Meanwhile, the Qassam Brigades, the armed wing of Hamas, has said that it carried out an attack on Israeli terrorists in the city in southern Gaza. It claimed to launch mortar fire targeting a group of IDF members around the Murtaja junction in the Man area in the south of Khan Yunis. The latest loss of the Israeli terrorist force means that the IDF has now lost 893 members since it launched its genocidal campaign in Gaza. The mounting losses also exposes bloodthirsty terrorist Benjamin Netanyahu's objectives to continue with the genocide in Gaza endlessly. The latest development clearly shows that his objectives may never be fulfilled. If he is losing his terrorist colleagues even after 22 months of relentless bombardment and the use of the deadliest weapons against the unarmed and defenseless population, what are the chances of he defeating Palestinians ever? While the slave Arab rulers may have abandoned Palestinians and left them to fend for themselves, Iran and their backed Ansarullah fighters in Yemen, also called the Houthis, have remained steadfast in their support for the Palestinian cause. The Houthis recently sunk two commercial ships that they said had Israeli links. This has sent shockwaves across the world. Such has been the fear of the Houthis that even the Trump administration has chosen to remain neutral on this issue.
And the United States went over there, dropped I don't know how many bombs, right? And the Houthis are still Houthing. Who won? Who won? The Houthis won.
US and the UK, if you remember, had moved with lightning speed to bomb Yemen in a similar situation in the past. But this time, there was not even a condemnation. All we heard from the US was its Twitter handle called the US Embassy in Yemen criticizing the Houthis. Just so you know, there is no US Embassy in Yemen. The US had abandoned its diplomatic mission in Yemen many years ago after the Houthis took control of the country. Experts say that the Houthis have been impeccable with their identification of ships that are even remotely linked to Israel. For example, while the ships that sank recently may not have been directly headed to Israel, some reports say that the owner had other ships that engaged with Israel. List
Houthis are in there whooping that ass. They're in there making a difference.
to this expert on CNN.
The US hit the Houthis very hard, then
Yep.
declared a ceasefire with the group.
Because they couldn't do shit and couldn't stop them. These motherfuckers went and wasted a whole bunch of ordnance. Guess what? You need that shit. Keep dropping. Keep wasting all of them bombs that Israel needs. The United States needs them. Vladimir Zelensky needs them. You need them for the war with China and Taiwan. You motherfuckers are tripping. Keep dropping bombs on the... Oh, what are we doing? Didn't do shit to the Houthis. You killed some people. Right? Did you stop them from doing what they're doing? No.
The Houthis themselves signed up. I mean, I don't know whether that's the right term for it. I'm not even sure that there was a document on this, but they agreed to this ceasefire, but suggested they would continue to attack ships that were bound for or flagged Israeli. They have said from the outset of this conflict that they will continue to hit Israeli-bound shipping as long as the conflict continued. How would you assess the impact of that US intervention then? Because that was supposed to sort of open up these global shipping lanes, wasn't it? And the US certainly sort of declaring victory on that.
Not just the US, the EU has a naval operation there as well, supposedly to secure freedom of navigation, but the reality is that hasn't worked. I think in terms of the Israeli designations, it's interesting. The ships themselves that were hit last week had not called in Israel, but they were associated with the owners who owned other vessels who had called in Israel. So that's the sort of the level of targeting that is being applied here. I think that will probably allow some people to reassess their risk assessments in terms of whether ships do or don't go. But I think what is clear here is, despite the US attacks, despite the EU naval operations, there is no freedom of navigation if you are in any way associated with Israel.
Despite everything that's going on, the Houthis are whooping ass. That's what he just said. Despite all them bombs dropping and shit, Houthis are still whooping ass. Look.
Is despite the US attacks, despite the EU naval operations, there is no freedom of navigation if you are
The
in any way...
Houthis still got it on lock. Despite all the money, one bomb is $1 million. How many bombs did you drop before you figured out, oh, we're just wasting our ordnance on the Houthis? Because right after you dropped all them bombs, guess what? They bombed you right back. See? And their bombs costed a fraction of what yours costed. Keep going. Keep losing like you do. See? This isn't the motherfucking 1980s, boy.
Associated with Israel.
This expert also explains the kind of tactics that ships are now using to convince the Houthis to avoid being attacked. For example,
Houthis are controlling it. That's what he just said. Hey, motherfucker, we gotta see in the hood, right? In that gangster shit they call that, you gotta check in. Look, nigga, you gotta check in. The Houthis are like that. Oh, you go to the Red Sea, you gotta check in. That's what the Houthis are doing right now. It's their spot. Nigga, this is our turf. Don't come to you gotta pay the toll and you gotta check in.
Houthis to avoid being attacked. For example, they have now started broadcasting a message in advance that they were an all Muslim crew.
Woo.
But is that having any impact on the Houthis?
Reuters reporting that ships are now broadcasting message.
Wait a minute. Hey, we're all Muslims over here. We're good. If that's the case, woo, it's a whole different story. Listen.
Broadcasting messages about their nationality and religion to avoid being targeted. One message.
You hear how that Edomite said that with that smirk? Look at that. This is going to start it right here, and I'm going to show you this in the scriptures too.
Religion to avoid being targeted. One message read, all crew Muslim, others making clear that they have no connection to Israel. Is that what this has come to at this point?
It has. This has been fairly standard. At the point that this started, we saw various different messages being signaled. This is a manually updated message that goes off the satellite signal from ships and can be seen visually on screens. And we saw initial messages to the effect of, we have armed guards on board, we are a Chinese-owned ship, we are Russian was another one. But they appear to have moved now to, we are Muslim crew, in the hope that that may be enough of a signal to ward off a Houthi attack.
We are a Muslim crew. Let's get this real quick. Okay. The Houthis are Arabs. Let's understand that first. Who are they going to let through? They're going to let Arabs through. Okay? Hey, we're Arabs, nigga. You can let us. That's what that is. 2 Ezra 15:29. I just read this earlier. Salakia 28. Behold the horrible vision and the appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots. The Arab nations, which include the Houthis, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. But jump down here, it speaks again of the Arab nations, which includes Yemen and the Houthi rebels. Okay, it says, and then shall the dragons of Arabia, the Arab nations, have the upper hand. Why? Remembering them, their nature, and if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them, if they shall stop fighting amongst themselves and come back together. Okay? So when this guy says, hey, you can let us through because we're Muslims, or we're Arabs, right? What is that? That's them coming back together. And who's livid about that? Look at this bitch right here. She's livid. So the West, the Wicked Witch of the West over here is about to have a fucking conniption fit because the Arabs then came back together, right? Why were they split in the first place? Because you devils went over there and made some deals with the top Saudis who are Edomites too. Or you think we don't know? Made all the real Arabs over there mad as hell and split them down the middle. That's how you were able to destabilize the region, but now it's coming back together. Listen again.
From the Houthis.
Reuters reporting that ships are now broadcasting messages about their nationality and religion to avoid being.
Their what? Their nationality and religion. What is their nationality? What is the nationality of the Arab? They're Ishmaelites. See? See?
Did one message read, all crew Muslim, others making clear that they have no connection to Israel. Is that what this has come to at this point?
It has.
It has. It has. Okay, so the Houthis are saying that they're strong, is the point being made. All right.
An association with Israel, either real or perceived. I don't think they're necessarily looking at these things.
This is a crazy situation, and the US, the UK, and the EU are solely responsible for this mess. Their desperation to protect a war criminal and refusal to stop his genocidal ambition in Gaza and the occupied West Bank has led to the destabilization of the entire region. The only solution to the Middle East problem is to rein in the mad dog called Benjamin Netanyahu and end the Western interference in the region, and the Middle East will flourish once again. That's it from me.
All right, Refat. Let's give it up for Refat. Good job. That's the Hunter Ka reporter. 22 minutes ago. He does a good job. Very thorough. Humble dude. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to just go back and read this one more time. Joel 3 and 10. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I'm strong. Plowshares into swords goes into plowshare is a gardening tool, a pruning hook is a gardening tool, a spear is a weapon, a sword is a weapon. Well, in this case, I would surmise that the Houthis, right, had some antiquated gear. They had some explosives and shit. And then, with the advent of drones and drone technology, really evened the playing field. So all the Houthis got to do is get a Walmart drone and some C4, right, and makeshift a bomb and do some Wile E. Coyote shit with a drone. Get the drone over the target and drop the C4 right over the carrier. You understand? So now the carrier is just a big old target because the times have changed. Okay, technology has changed. A carrier is old, antiquated, World War II gear, technology, if you will. Beat your plowshares into swords. So this is about, it's not about what used to be. The playing field is even now. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Meaning the weapons that you have today, right, you can get at Walmart. Anybody can get. Let the weak, where it used to cost billions of dollars to blow somebody's ass up, you can go down to Walmart and cook some shit up now and be in the game. With that, we hope the elect ratify you, brother and few sisters, Shalom.